Chapter 4, Video 2. Today we're going to talk about collecting a sterile urine specimen. With a sterile urine specimen, oftentimes if we do a clean catch, what we call a clean catch, when you go to the doctor's office and they pass you the cup and you pee in the cup, this is not considered sterile. Because oftentimes you may show bacteria because you may have not cleaned yourself well or whatever. So a sterile urine specimen is collected through a straight catheter or through a Foley. And I want to explain something to you. When you're collecting a sterile urine specimen from a patient with an indwelling catheter, this can only be done right after it is inserted. You cannot wait until later. So if a patient has an indwelling Foley catheter and you're ordered to get a sterile urine specimen, you cannot use that Foley catheter. You cannot use the urine from that due to the fact that it's been in place for a while. However, if you are collecting a sterile urine specimen on a patient that does not have a Foley catheter, but the doctor has ordered for you to put a Foley catheter in, and you just inserted this Foley catheter, you can collect that sterile urine off of a brand new Foley catheter, but you cannot collect it later. A sterile urine specimen, we usually most oftentimes use a straight catheter for this. So, you would follow the steps of catheterizing the patient and then letting the urine come back into the cup, and then you're going to finish. You're going to collect the urine into the cup, but you're also going to allow that bladder to finish emptying when you're doing a straight catheter. You don't want to just pull it out midstream halfway through. When collecting urine using sterile technique, remember that we have to keep the dominant hand sterile while we're cleaning that meatus. So when we're cleaning a patient, our non-dominant hand is on the patient, but we have to keep our dominant hand sterile, okay? So we have one hand that's not sterile and another one that is, and I think we discussed that in lab. I think that is that. Make sure that you understand the process of collecting a sterile urine and how to collect that sterile urine. So go to your chapter and go through the steps on that. We have different types of irrigation. We have open irrigation, closed irrigation, and continuous irrigation. I do want you to be familiar with these, so go to your book and know these. This is an example of open irrigation. So you're inserting that, you've got the catheter tubing, you've got your syringe. So you see here we irrigate from this portion of the tubing. And then with closed irrigation, the difference with closed irrigation is we have an aspiration port. And what we're going to do here is we're clamping off this tubing below, because we want to make sure that this fluid doesn't flow back down into the bag. We're clamping this off to make sure that this fluid is going in the direction of the bladder, and we're going to go in through the aspiration port, and that is why this is considered closed irrigation. And then of course continuous irrigation. With the triple lumen catheter, you can see, remember, the lumen is the opening. So we have a lumen here for flushing, and then we have a lumen here for inflating the balloon, and then we have a lumen here that drains the actual urine out. So understand your triple lumen catheter as well. I think that is it for Chapter 4. If you have any further questions, please let me know.